Andrea Yates, 22 years ago. Never forget this case. It was the first time that I had really seen the idea of postpartum depression and psychosis come to play in the criminal justice system. It led Yates to drown her 5 children, one by one after the other, in the bathtub. As remarkable as the legal theory was the human component. Her then husband, Rusty, said he forgave her. The case brought national attention and support to hundreds of thousands of women who suffer in the hopes of, never allowing a tragedy like Yates to happen again. But of course it did. Just last week, a young Massachusetts mom who's also a midwife, her name is Lindsay Clancy, she allegedly strangled her 3 young kids to death. Clancy also suffered from extreme postpartum depression. Mothers do not kill their children. And that is a big part that feeds into the understanding even legally. Her husband, like Rusty, says he forgives her for killing their kids. How? It's so hard to understand, and that's why I wanted you to hear from somebody who lived it. Former husband of Andrea Yates, Russell Yates. It's good to have you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
First, how you doing?
Pretty good. Life goes on. I'm married again and not married anymore. We had a son. He's 14 now, and such a joy. Very happy. Very proud of him.
What did you think, Rusty, when you heard about this case?
Yeah, it sounds similar. I mean, anytime I hear of a case like this, I get a little sad because, I had hoped that, we'd have less and less, but realistically, I mean, it's a sickness. People get sick. It happens. It's sad.
Well, that is a lot to digest given what you had to suffer through. What do you want people to understand about why you were able to forgive, and what people need to understand, not about your judgment, but about what we're talking about when we talk about postpartum depression and what it does to somebody?
Yeah, I mean, a psychiatrist or psychologist could explain it, but basically the way I understand it is it's much like having a dream or nightmare overlaid on reality, so that, a person sees things that aren't real, hears voices that aren't real, believes things to be true that aren't true, and they act on that. I mean, it's every bit as part of their reality, as anything else. So they can't distinguish, between those thoughts and those images and those voices and anything else. So that's real, and then they act.
I remember you at the time.
Reality. So
I remember you at the time, and going back and reviewing the case, that you kept saying that Andrea loved her kids, that she did everything she could for her kids, and that there was never any way that anything would ever make you believe anything but that. So there had to be another explanation other than evil or other than malice or anything that goes into murdering, because Andrea wasn't capable of that. Have you always remained ironclad in your belief that that's the case?
100%. Yeah, I mean, Andrea was a wonderful mother. I think when someone acts so out of character like that, it's kind of a flag, that there's something else going on. And, as far as forgiveness goes, I think that's kind of the start. Like you said, if something's completely out of character, this can't be right. What else is there, And then I realized, okay, at the time I did not know that she'd been psychotic. I did not know what psychosis even was or what the symptoms were. And, like in this case, you can do all you can at home, but you really can't protect yourself from a psychotic person at home. I mean, they get up in the middle of the night and, light the house on fire or poison everyone, or who knows, It's so, You know, as far as the next step of forgiveness, I'd say is understanding it's a sickness, you know, that but for, you know, that causation, right, but for her sickness, she would never, ever, ever, ever have harmed our children. I mean,
hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.